So we're going to tell you today what we have on our roadmap, but by roadmap, I don't mean like strict ideas, what's going to be one after another, but just more of a like bag of ideas, what we're thinking about doing. We have few things that we will do for sure, yeah, but most of the things are still in consideration, yeah, and that's why we need this feedback. Your feedback at this moment is crucial for us. We need to hear voices from you if to implement this or that feature, yeah. Your voice is important. But before that, maybe tell about who we are.
It's a probably redundant introduction since we know each other as vendor and customer, but just to repeat what you probably already know, we are Atlassian Gold Partner and a Marketplace Gold Top Vendor. Our products are currently being used by over 3,000 customers globally, and we are very much known for what we often refer to as our legendary support. If you look up reviews on the Marketplace, you will see that almost each and every one of them refers to the fact that we're very helpful, responsive, and customers enjoy our support very much.
So let's make a deep dive. So we have grouped our the roadmap in 3 separate parts. First of all, we're going to tell what's coming up next. That's what we're planning till the end of April, I believe, somewhere around that. Yeah,
less, yeah.
End of April. We will try to deliver those things. Of course, we'll try, as with everything, things can change, and one of them probably might change, I would say. Second part is ideas in consideration, so what we plan or thinking about doing afterwards. And the last part will be ideas further ahead. So those ideas there in the third part would require some serious consideration, some serious work on our side, and we cannot commit to it yet, but it's something that we have on our planning and constantly are rising up about this or this idea. But we're going to tell about it more. So what's coming up next? We are going to address a problem of powerful mappings. So it's not a kind of a problem, but we would like to empower them even more than they are right now. First of all, sprints. Mapping sprints is not an easy task. I would say that I've been once there in this code, seeing what is happening in sprints. So mapping sprints from Jira side to the TFS as iterations, because that's how they're named on the TFS side, is really, really painful, both because sprints are global and because they have different representations depending on your Jira version. One of the problems currently facing sprints is that you cannot create automatically sprints. So we have to go and manually each time separately map one sprint with another. So you cannot effectively use it. You have to still manually map each single one of them. Yeah? What we are trying to achieve in one of our future sprints is to have an option to automatically create sprints out of a TFS iteration paths, iterations in general. Second thing is users mapping. Currently we know that the Jira side, first of all, has changed a little bit its representation of how because of the GDPR changes, how users are stored. And another thing is that if you have a big instance, we know that it can provide problems. If you have some problems with mapping, users mapping, and you would like to hear more about it, please contact us directly. We would love to hear your feedback. What's your use case? How you're using it? Why? Because we're going to invest it, I don't know if next sprint or few sprints afterwards, but for sure we are going to address it as soon as possible. First sprints, then users. It may change, but those two things are most important one. Afterwards, we're going to focus on read-only fields. So what's under this cryptic read-only fields? Right now on TFS side, if you are having only read-only field, we do not fetch the possible options to map. Let's say you have a created by field. There is a created by field in TFS is a system field. It's read-only. You cannot edit it in any way because it's a system field automatically being filled by TFS or this Azure DevOps, whatever system they have. But because of this, it's not returning a list of allowed values. So we cannot populate it. One of the problems is users. There are other fields that are also read-only, and regular configuration cannot address it. So we're gonna probably make some reworking of the background mechanism for you in order to map it properly as you would like to have it. And then we go into default mappings. Currently, we do not opinionate at all default mappings. We would like to give you power, or like empower you in this area. How? Probably by checking up what kind of values you have on one side and what values you have on another side, and which of them seems like a good match. Okay, so an example probably you would like to see. First of all, let's say the users. If we see users are having the same scenario, the same string on both sides, probably they can be matched. So why not just map them? Yeah. Secondly, priority and severity. So if you have the same amount of same number of priorities and severities on both sides, we would like to give you an option to automatically map them for you. Yeah, that's another thing. The list goes on. Yeah, probably it would require some feedback. How do you map it? We are right now checking up we're performing feedback calls with our customers to see how they have set up their configuration. And based on this feedback, we'll try to come up with a system that will make an attempt to address this problem. So you do not have to set up every single profile each time. So that's one point. And the second point might seem pretty vague. What does it mean, library deprecation? Currently, TFS4JIRA, in order to connect to TFS, is using Microsoft library. This Microsoft library is good, but it seems that Microsoft is turning away from it in favor of REST API. Up to TFS, I think 2019, not everything was possible via REST API. Some capabilities would still had to be done via library. But from 2019, TFS version 2019, I think, or 2012 even, the REST API is going to replace completely the library, which is, by the way, still using SOAP protocol. SOAP, which is not perfect, I might say. We are going to rewrite all the functionalities that are using library, this Microsoft library, to REST API. And this might take time. So what's the added benefit? First of all, performance. Right now, whenever we are asking something by the library does the job, but it's good. It's good. We have a layer of abstraction we can trust, and we know it's reliable, but it's certainly not fast. We would like to improve this performance, and we can. Second thing is that whenever something breaks on the library side, we don't know what's going on because it's our layer of abstraction between the TFS and the core of TFS4JIRA. In order to better resolve the problem, we would need to have full control of the process. That's why we're going to remove the library and replace it with our own calls to the REST API. That's how it's resolved, by the way, to the Jira side. With Jira, we connect only by a REST API. Any questions up to this point? Because, like, from my perspective, I would love to hear what you think about it. This is uber important for us. Uber important. There is nothing more important than your feedback here.
I'm afraid we don't have any questions at the moment, but I'm sure there will be some coming up later on.
Yeah. Okay, so what we are thinking in the future. The list is long. First of all, we are thinking about Firebase as a default option. This is actually something we are for sure going to do, just don't know when. What's a Firebase? Firebase is a different type of hosting. Currently, we're using compact SQL database, which is like embedded into TFS4JIRA. We would like to change it to Firebase. Why? Because to lift off the 4 GB limit. Secondly, much easier control from client perspective, customer perspective. You would have more control over what's stored in TFS4JIRA. Secondly, we are thinking about giving an option to have a database connected to TFS4JIRA completely separately. So we can have separate machine running the database only and have TFS4JIRA connecting to the database. With this option, you'll have full control and you can scale up to the limit. No limits in terms of scaling. Second part is like reusability parts of the profiles. Currently, we had an idea, like that's how we opinionated the workflow, so that each separate profile is for project per project mapping. And many times, if you would like to reuse the mapping, you have to clone the profile, recreate it up from scratch, and fill in all those fields. What we are currently considering is to have some bits and parts of some configuration being reusable. So then the profile is not statically set up, but is built from modules which you will predefine. So for example, I'm fed up with each single time creating myself a new connection, testing my connection if it works. No, I would like just to reuse one which is in separate profiles. And I know one customer had 30 profiles, which he had to update each single one of them. This is no go for me. And we know that for sure some companies have this policy that they have to reset or change the password each 3 months. And in order to do so, they have to update all 30 profiles because they stop working. No, not anymore. That's one of the biggest topics we have reusability of connections. And if we add reusability for one part, we'll probably start adding to another as well. Other thing is the user mapping. We know that if you have a long list of users, clicking each single time to map this one or map one person from TFS to this person in Jira can be painful if you have a long list of them. And you don't have, of course, a connected Active Directory. If you don't have connected Active Directory, this can be painful. So we are thinking about having this also part reusable. So whenever you create user mapping, you can select, okay, choose default one, which is used in this profile. The C part, no, well, this is nice. This is nice because to be honest with you, per issue type mapping is a big issue. So we've been asked to have some sort of like cascading style, like CSS, exactly like CSS, cascading style of mapping profiles. So you have a global profile under which, and then you have specific for each issue type, which can also go deeper into JQL one. So per issue type mapping is something that we have constantly on our board and are thinking about it. If we're going to do it, how it's going to do it depends on the feedback. Depends on the feedback as always. Yeah, but this is something we are considering. There are two options here. Either we have heavy rework of the UI, which is doable, or hard, but there is another option to have it like if we give an option to upload it as a JSON, then it will be easier to implement, harder to use, but with everything, we'll have to choose when we start implementing it. And of course, sprints. Like sprints, as I said, are global. So there is no point in having them each single time per project. So I would like to have mapping for sprints the same as for user mappings. So those things, user mapping and sprints, will be global, and connection, of course, because probably most of the time I've checked, in like 99% of profiles, I've seen that each single profile is configured for one particular user, and this is TFS4JIRA specific users. Then we go into, okay, most recently we've added option to have notifications via email if something breaks up. And we know that people are like, how to say it, they're not happy with the fact that it might spam their mailbox. So what we are considering to add is have a per profile notification. So then each profile will have someone else responsible for. So there is no one admin guy who responds all the mailbox and all the mails from everywhere. No, there will be each profile separate person, and they can maintain the profile by themselves. Last thing here is the more intuitive wizard. Well, we are going to rebuild wizard, just don't know where, when, because this has been there for like, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years? 3 years already, yeah, something around that. We need to rebuild it. Why? Because we are already rebuilding the UI completely from scratch. So why not wizard, and to make it more up to date? Probably we'll have to somehow also add the option to reuse connections, user mapping, and sprints, which is kind of an obvious. Mm-hmm. And now we go into big ones. So here I have 2 pages, not just one. So we have 6 things that we are right now considering how to approach and how to tackle in the future. So this one is nice. Other ALM connections, other solutions. So many people asking why not Trello? Okay, so Trello, yeah. What else? I know there is an IBM solution. There is Asana. There is GitLab. There's Service Desk, Service Freshdesk, Zendesk. So many solutions out there, and we know for sure that there is one case of people using, like customers using Jira for Service Desk and TFS for development. Why not others? Yeah, maybe we can connect somehow, but in order to do so, to know that if there is a need for this, we would need to hear from you if you are actually using something else aside of Jira and TFS. Maybe the concoction is a bit richer than we expect. Maybe there's someone else. Another thing in here in the list is a cloud solution. Currently, we have some sort of cloud solution, but then still you have to host it on your own. Yeah? This is a big task. I'm not going. This is a really big task because then we will have to host it ourselves. We as a Spartez. Added benefit is that you don't have to worry about VMs. Currently, you have to either have a VM running in the cloud, or you have to have some sort of web app served by Microsoft. There are solutions working out there. You can have cloud, but it's not something that we host, and you just log in and use it as much as you wish. Yeah, there are a few problems with this. It's something we are considering. It will be nice to have it, but for this, in order to know if it's needed or not, we would need to hear, as I said, from you. Third part is nice. I have particularly enjoyed a lot thinking about it. REST API. Why? Because we are doing it already anyway. The problem is that we don't know if we would like to publish it. Reworking of the current UI is in progress, and we are reworking in such a way that the UI, the front end, is connecting with backend using specific REST API. We are using REST API to connect to the backend, and we are thinking about exposing it. Maybe exposing it. It is already exposable. Like we're thinking about making it public, so to give you more control over the process. This is very, I would say, this might be very beneficial to somebody who would like to automate all the process. Let's say you have a new onboard. You onboard someone new. You onboard it on TFS and you onboard him on Jira, and then you have to automatically also add the mapping in TFS4JIRA. With REST API option, you would have this ability to automatically send a request which will add the mapping for you. That's one thing. Second thing, creation of the profiles, creation of the mappings, setting up them all. All the things that are right now there in the UI would be achievable via REST API. So at some point, you will be able to not ever log in, just have a script that will update everything for you. This, on the other hand, could solve most of our problems in terms of like mapping sprints and users, but we have committed to deliver it before REST API. Fourth point is like, it's not on Atari actually. It's a kind of a joke. Thank you, Magdalena.
No problem.
For doing it. Not once, I would say not once, we've been asked, do we really need this UI? So sometimes we know that our customers are having Windows, but cannot access it directly via UI, just because, yeah, they would like to limit these options. And installing it, performing any options on it is impossible without console version. And then, of course, you can limit, on the other hand, you can limit in this way resource consumption, which will also speed up many other things and probably lower the bill. Active Directory migration, 0.5 is nice also. At current stage, you can do the mapping. But imagine a situation you would like to migrate from one solution to another. And what? So right now I have to migrate everything. No, we'll give you an option to migrate both users from one to another. Secondly, probably some other objects. This might seem vague, but the core idea is that we will give you an option to migrate not only issues, not only work items, but also all the artifacts that are stored in synchronized issue tracker. So, for example, projects, users, I don't know, sprints. Oh, sprints are already planned. Filters, everything that can be somehow translated from one issue tracker to another might be as well also. And this is like, here it's just a point, but we might expand it on it. We might expand it, but we will need to know if this is required. And the last part is plugin support. So how it looks like now. Jira is a platform on which you have multiple additional solutions. So you have a Jira as a core, Jira software, Jira service desk. Okay, there are core solutions. But aside of that, you can buy plugins that extend your capabilities. So we can have tempo for issue tracking, time tracking. So you can have portfolio, be it picture or structure, for global view. You can have Zephyr or Testra installed if you'd like to have integrated it into some testing tool. Well, this is Jira, yeah. But TFS, on the other hand, has everything built in. It has testing, it has time tracking, it has a global perspective, global view, it has multiple layers, which Jira has only 3 layers of the structure, while TFS can have infinite numbers of them. And during time, we know that not one of them was asked, or all of them was asked not once, but in order to do and start developing support for any plugin whatsoever, we need to know if this is really required. Yeah? So if you're using any of those plugins and you would like to see them migrated from one to another, give us a hint. Let us know. We would love to work with you on that and provide the support for this.
We have a question, and it's actually just in time, because the question is this roadmap available for the public anywhere?
Yeah, of course. I was just checking if it's appropriate with the presentation, so I even have it here. So we have, okay, actually, yeah, we have it. That's a good question, good moment, because we have it on next slide. On next slide, I was going to show it. We have it on Trello, publicized. Why? Priorities open for voting. So what we're counting on you right now, and we would like to see from your side, is that this is Trello board, so we can access at any given moment and comment, what do you think about it? You can always go there. First of all, you can add a comment and vote for this particular issue. If you'd like to see, let's say I'm a regular user, and I would like to have REST API because I like twigging up with REST API. You can go here, add a comment, say us what do you think about it, and vote up. Based on those votes, we'll know that this issue, this particular issue, is being requested. And for me, it will be easier to consider to.
It will be a real-life proof of the actual need that we are considering.
And then, of course, the developer team will be more eager to develop because there is actually need on the market for this. All the slides that were mentioned here are already in place. Mm-hmm. I think even some of them are, they're here like checklist. They're all waiting for you to leave a comment. And if you have anything to add, please let us know. We are really waiting for your feedback, which is, as I said, extremely important for us. Any questions other than the roadmap?
Not that I can see. One more thing we need to stress here is that at any point in time, if you need our assistance, don't hesitate to reach out for a one-on-one call. We can always schedule that, and we can always facilitate any demo or reproduction of a specific situation that you are struggling with or considering whether this can be done with TFS4JIRA. So both the two of us and our support team are here for you all the time. And that will be probably all that we have to say today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was valuable information for you. And we very, very much hope to hear from you, either via email or via the chat on our website or via the roadmap that Paweł mentioned and showed to you. I will be sending out the links to the roadmap following this webinar, along with the recording and the presentation, so that you can always follow up from there.
Okay. I think that's it. Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you for your attention, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.